Hello, everybody, and welcome back. This is the prequel video to the BB8 vector to pixel persona video that I did. So last time I showed you kind of how to take something that's already done and use the pixel persona and give it some shading. Now I am going to show you how to make this BB8 here, and we're going to do it in a way where you can follow along. This is something new I'm going to try, and we're going to see how it goes, but I'm going to kind of like do it in certain sections and then kind of give you a spot to take a break while you catch up. Or you can just watch it through if you want, if that's how you work. But you'll see, I got it planned out a little bit different, and hopefully it works out good. And you can actually sit down, take a break, make this. And if this goes good, let me know what you think in the comments, because I'm kind of shooting off the top of my head here. I haven't really seen this done with other videos, but I think it'll work. And let me know what you think in the comments. I'll either start doing them like this in the future, or I can just go back to, how everybody does them, where you just do it and, you retain what you retain and try to do it yourself. So, okay, so this is the BB8 we're making. I started a new document here, and I just got some stuff kind of roughed out that I just want to start with. So I got BB8's body here, the bottom section, and then the first thing we're going to want to make here is his this shape with the little circle, and then put some metal parts into it, and we're going to kind of want to get that on him. So this video, it's a beginner's video, and I'm going to teach you a lot about masking. Like, the focus is going to be masking and cutting shapes out. And that's BB8's a great model, to try to show this. So first I'm going to show you what not to do real quick. This is going to take a second. Well, so first of all, whenever you make a shape, people want to add more shapes to it, or more lines to it. If you actually draw out a shape rather than take the pen, if you have the pen tool and you make a shape, you can go through and do that, and you can add more points and do whatever you want. If you make a shape, you have to first convert it to curves. Then you can go in and start making points and start dragging them down. So this is what you do not want to do. Okay, we're trying to make this shape here, and you don't want to go through. You can, but this is kind of the hard way to do it, and they're probably not going to line up all good and stuff. So let me Command Z out of this, and that was the do not do this. So now let's just get right into how to do this. So you want these shapes to be cut out right. So we're going to go in, and there's a multitude of different shapes here. We're going to use the trapezoid tool, and his are a little thin here. I made them a little bit bigger, but it's just kind of up to, what you want to do and what your preference is. So let's get the first one made, and then I'm going to hold the Alt key and Shift key and slide this one up here, right click on it, transform, flip vertically. And then now I'm going to select them both, Alt, drag them off, twist them around a little bit, hold Shift, and then kind of eyeball them back up here. Okay, so let's turn the magnet tool on. Okay, so now we got the magnet tool. It's showing that that's in the middle. And then we're going to select these two. And that's the center there. Hold on, let me reselect that. It looked a little, there we go. Okay, it was a little off. Okay, so here's what I'm going to show you that you kind of should be able to do, but you can't. Let me group these. Let me make one more, because I'm going to show you what we're going to do here. I want to be able to literally cut this chunk out of here. So what I'm going to do is place it on here, and I'm going to drop it so that these two are right next to each other, and this one's on top and this one's on the bottom. I'm going to select this icon right here because I want to have the top piece be the cookie cutter and the bottom be the cookie that we're going to keep. And we're going to click this one right here, which is going to subtract it. So it's going to subtract the top object from the bottom object. And there we go. Cut that chunk right out. So the problem is, and what I wanted to show you, is if you group all these together and you're thinking, oh, great, I can just do this all at once. You can't. It's grayed out. So it's not going to work. So they're grouped. All we got to do, it's not that big of a deal, but just make sure they're on top of each other. We're just going to have to do one at a time. Make sure that's selected, negative that out. What happens is it makes a new curve. Instead of keeping it in the same place, it drops it up to the front. But so we're going to have to kind of keep dropping this back. Same thing. And we're just going to have to go, oh, see, now it's staying there. Good. Okay. And we're just going to kind of go around and make that shape. And there we go. Simple as that. No problem. So that's how you actually cut out a shape. So now let's go ahead and actually let me just delete this one and I'll use this one. So all I did was, draw out an orange thing, and there we go. Our magnet is on and it was telling us that is center. And let's look. That looks about right. Good enough. So we can even go one step further if we wanted and take this and that, select the top. So this is the cookie cutter cutting into the cookie. And we could actually do that if we wanted. And, I guess might as well. So, okay. Now I'm going to do one more thing, which is the, let's tilt this a little bit. Let's tilt it on to 90. That way we kind of got that shape. Let's go ahead and just kind of make these things in here. And it's not going to be too big of a deal. I might just draw them right out with the pen. Let me do the 3 line. I take that back. Let me do the 3 lines in the middle first. Whoops. I don't want to do that. We click off that, then click on this. Then we're going to get like a gray. And let's make, see now they're getting a little annoying, so I'm going to turn that off. Okay, so we're going to do, zoom in here. And just hold the Alt key and Shift key. And yeah, okay. So let me center these up. Maybe we'll stretch them out just a little bit. And that is good enough. Let's group those, Command G. And I think I'm just going to draw in the little piece over here. You know what? Okay, so I have the pen tool. This pen mode, each time we click, it's going to give us, like if you drag, you can do the Bezier tools. I like using this second one here, which is smart mode. And I can click in and it just kind of knows by how you're clicking, what shape you're going for. It works, not too bad. I'm going to click here to make it like that. Let's see. And we do have a little bit of adjusting coming in here. Let me delete this. I changed my mind. Let me, I'm going to do the polygon mode. That way I think that'll make this better. So the polygon pen mode only does straight lines. So that way we can make it fit a lot better and I'm not putting too many points in. Now I can kind of get it right about where I want it. And then I can just take this right here and just click on it. And then that'll curve in a lot better. And that looks way better than what it did earlier. It was just too messy. Okay, so let's click here. We're going to add another point. And here, we're going to add another point. And then I'm going to go just kind of right next to these two and add 2 more quick points. And we're going to select them both, and we're going to drag them out. Okay, now I'm going to give this some color. We'll just click on that. That should be the last one color that that was. I'm going to take the stroke off this for now. Maybe we'll put it on in a bit. And I'm just going to hold the Alt, slide one out there. And I'm going to transform, and I'm going to flip it horizontally, and that should fit right in over there. And I am noticing they are a little big. So I'm going to select both these and kind of shrink them down a little bit. And then just kind of move them back. And BB8, you know, he doesn't have to be dead on. You just want to kind of get that reference that there's stuff there. And I'm going to put all this into another group. And I'm going to do one last thing, and then we're going to take just a little bit of a break, and I want you to catch up to this. The last thing I'm going to do is do an effects. And we're going to do a little bit of a bevel and emboss to that. That way it gets that look. We're going to adjust it once it gets onto him. And then I want to do a color overlay to him. Because like I said, once we get him on the body, he's going to look a little different. But okay, so we're going to take a quick break. Go ahead and get kind of caught up to this part here. And we actually don't have a lot more to go, because once you kind of get up to here, I'm going to show you just a couple more masking things, and you're going to it's going to start clicking, and you're going to be able to see where I'm going with this, and you're going to be able to do this BB8 and apply it to other projects and everything. So go ahead, get caught up, and I'll see you back in 1 second. Okay, and we're back, and I forgot to tell you, I screwed up. I forgot to tell you to play around a little bit and, try to make a couple more different shapes on your own. This was the original one we did. I basically kind of took these here, overlaid them over this, and did the same thing that we did to make our initial shape, to cut those out, made a circle. I was just kind of playing. I took those 2 points and stretched them out, put a circle there. So if you want to give it a quick pause and just kind of make 3 more or 2 more, then go ahead. If not, we're going to go ahead and you can just start with that next time. But let's just get back into what we're doing here. So, okay, so I got these actually can come out of a group. And then let me just delete that. Okay, I think we don't need the reference anymore. And those empty groups were just from something we were doing. Oh, I had 2 reference pictures there. Okay, so all we got is our BB8 body and our 3 circles. So let's go back to our main one. So we're going to have 3. And let me show you the one like big limitation of Affinity Designer 1.5 that I really hope gets fixed more than pretty much anything in the future is a lot of programs, Illustrator, whatever. Let me see okay, so if you draw something out, let me just convert this to convert to curves. Okay. So if we had a lot of different programs, will do what's called skewing, where you could have an item in here and you can kind of fit it, and make it look like, so if that was on BB8's body, it would look more like it was in perspective. And in other programs, you could do that with circles and everything. They just don't have that in Affinity Designer right now. Affinity Photo has it, and you can like bounce back and forth to do it. But I don't think it's, they just need to put it in Affinity, and I hope they do. So that's the problem. We have to kind of trick the eye with, actually, let me Command Z to get that reference back up. So it's going to be hard for us without skewing to literally recreate this BB8. So we have to kind of work around that and kind of, kind of use some design skills to kind of figure out how we're going to place them. Let me just show you in this BB8 because it is tricking the eye a little bit. But these they're not skewed. They're just what we made. So none of these are skewed. They're just laid on in a position to where it looks like it's skewed on. And then as you can see, we're just kind of adding in these little lines and panning them out to give that illusion that it's got depth, but there is no depth. And if they add the skew tool into 1.6, they've been showing some teasers on it on their on the Affinity YouTube channel. I haven't seen skewing yet, but I really got my fingers crossed for it because we'll be able to really do some really, really cool tutorials in the future if they just add that one simple thing. So let's get back into this. Let's just kind of lay these on. We're going to start laying these on. And what we're going to do now is we're going to mask these to the object. So I didn't show you this earlier, but so earlier we did cutting out. Now we're going to do masking. So we have this object here and we want this to be the mask, not this. This is the layer. We want the actual ellipse to mask this out. So it's really simple. All you do is you grab what you want and you put it here, not here. See how like when you kick it over, it's going to go into this and then bam, this is masking out whatever's under here. So, there we go. You do got to be careful sometimes if you drop the wrong layer in, especially when you're doing things like this, it could disappear on you, but it didn't disappear. It's just really outside of the mask. So let's just drop all of these into here and see, I did it again. Okay. So that's over there. Okay. And let's just kind of position these, kind of play with them a little bit. And I think we're actually going to resize just a bit. I want these a little bit bigger. Make sure you hold down the shift key when you resize. And, one thing too is I didn't show you guys how to use symbols. I do that a lot in some of the other tutorials I do, but not this one. And it's because there's no point to having symbols in this because we had them looking all different to begin with. So that's why I didn't do symbols. But if you want to learn about symbols, I have a couple other videos where I show that. Okay, so thinking that's about it looks about right for, let me kind of look at the other one. This one definitely has more intricate pieces than this first one I did. But maybe just a little more spread out. But I think for the most part, that's going to give us the look we want. And then, yeah, okay, so that was the other thing. So now that it's part of this mask, yeah, you can move it around and they stick with it. It's not like, these are going to stay over here when you move the mask. So we might as well just put this right in the middle now. And I feel like we're looking good here. I just want to play with this one a little bit. But, okay, so I'm liking this. So now let's bounce back over to here. And let's just get these lines in really quick. This is really easy. And we're going to put some grommets on it. Oops. Okay. Okay, so really simple. We're just going to take the pen tool and we're just going to do one line here. Let's go ahead and make that stroke a dark, let's go real dark with it. It's almost like a reddish black. And then we're going to pump the, I guess we'll go up to about 5 points. And why not? Let's just, okay, so this is your pressure curve. I kind of want the edges thin and the middle thick. So that's what we're going to do. So this represents the edges and this represents the middle, and the height is the thickness. So did that, and now we just kind of want to do, whoops. I'm going to select the tool, select off of it. Select a new layer. Let me just do them and then I'll drop them back. Oops. And here. Okay, and we're gonna play with these just a little bit, get them right. But like I showed you earlier with moving that one out, all you gotta do is kind of just grab it, and it's just gonna kind of go out and make that curve for you. And if you get that, that means you got the middle, the fill. So you just want to go to none on fill. Oops. Okay, and we're starting to get that shape. It does look a little off here, so you can always play with it. And you know, okay, so man, this one might need to get played with a little more. Okay, next break we take, I'm probably gonna touch this up a little bit, but that is what I'm doing. I just got to redo it. It looks a little sloppy there. So next we're gonna do the all these little rivets here, and those are super simple. You just draw that out. You can just, if you want to just use the, the line as the thing, you can do that. Or if you do convert to donut, and then you can kind of make the hole however big you want, and then you can get rid of the stroke. And then, wait, did I have it filled? Oh no, I'm sorry. They're white with a gray stroke. They just don't have the, they just don't have that pressure on it. So if we go to pressure, you can just do a reset, and then we can bring that pressure way down. And then there we go. We have the little grommets, and size it to about there. And then all you got to do is Alt, Control on these. And we can just kind of throw these out wherever. Again, look at your, BB8 reference. Just download a Google image, and you're basically just trying to take his shapes and kind of simplify them. And we can do the same thing. We can drop some of these. Some of these I'm going to drop into the layer. That way they're just a little bit outside of that mask. Okay, so let's take all these donuts and let's group them, Command G, and same thing. We're just going to drop them in there, and now you can see some of them are poking out, and we can still go in and select them. If you do like a triple click on the item you want, you can get it. Okay, so the next big thing, I know this one's not looking like this one, so let me go in. I'm going to get rid of these effects, I think, because it's just not, we're just having too different of a look going on here. You can go in if you want a little bit more realistic of a look. Go ahead and do that. But I don't know. I think it was just getting a little too muddy for me, because then you're gonna go in still and do the brushing. Okay, so that should get you up to here with masking and everything. Go ahead, take another just quick second to kind of get to here. I'm going to take a quick second, just clean this up a little bit, and mainly these circles here. And we're going to go into the next step, and then that's just going to be the head, and then we're going to kind of wrap up. Okay, so we're back, and I did touch up quite a bit on this. Let me show you what I did here. I just noticed we needed to move as a group. I needed to just kind of move those around a little bit. So I just kind of selected them all and moved them. I was just kind of kept looking at my reference here. And, you know, whatever reference you're using, if you have a different picture of BB8, or if you're just kind of trying to make it work, you know, just try to make sure you're sticking with your reference. I had drawn these lines in too much, so I popped those out. And I did end up using an ellipse just to make sure that they lined up right, and kind of drawing over that. I can get rid of that now. And then the grommets I kind of laid out different. So, and I did go back in. I did, as a group, go back in and turn on back on the bevel and emboss. The reason it was throwing me is because it was just so harsh. What you want to do, though, is once I started looking at it, you know, you just got to kind of make sure your light source is set. And I kind of pushed it down a little bit. I kept it at pillow, and you know, I kind of turned that back on because I do like it to pop up just a tad. So, okay, so we're on the home stretch. This will be the last thing, and we just got to kind of get into the top of his head, and we're just going to keep going here. So what I did for his head was they have this segment tool, and that way I didn't have to make his shape. I just kind of looked, and I was like, oh, that works. Okay, and then I'm going to show you another quick trick. Is I did not right off the bat turn it and get it like I want first, because then we're going to be making squares and stuff, and like everything we make, we're going to have to go back in and get it lined up right. So we want to make his face first, and then we'll line it up and you know, make it fit. But you do want to kind of just make sure you got the size right. So, okay, so that's all I started out with for his head. And again, let's kind of go back to the reference. So let's go ahead and put these stripes in real quick. This is easy. Show you how to do that. We're gonna, what was it? It was a gray on the top and then an orange stripe. Okay, so let's do this. We're going to get rid of the stroke. We're going to go to the fill, and we're going to make that a dark gray like it is. And guess what? We are going to do what I showed you last time. So we're going to take that. I want that to be the mask, and there you go. That's simple. Okay, so let's just do that again with an orange stripe. Oh, now because we're in the thing already, we're you know what I mean? We don't have to redrop it in. I want to get the same orange, so I'm going to take the orange or the eyedropper tool, go over the orange, and then I'm going to click that, and it'll pop right into that orange. And now I believe this I might just drag here to get that bottom. And yeah, okay, that looks good. So now we're going to go in with this tool, and it looks like we're just going to do a couple orange. There we go. Oh, and I put a stroke around this, and I should do it to that as well. So I think, let me just go in and get the color. Okay, and then I think that stroke was a little bit, there we go. Okay. Okay, let's look back at the reference. Okay, so we got some of those lines in here. Let me show you. Okay, let's make this square first. Simple enough. I think that had just a real thin stroke. And it was the gray. So let's make sure we're still kind of keeping with the same color palette here. And this, kind of just head down to that. Yeah, I was kind of using this little off yellow color. Okay, same thing. We're going to drop this into there. Okay. Okay, and then now we got that eye piece. So basically, I'm going to show you another quick little trick here. Okay. Take the circle tool. Let's zoom in here. And let's kind of draw that out to there. And we're going to line this up. And here's what I did here is first we got to convert it to curves. We can do that. Also, if you don't want to right click, you can just convert to curves right there. Now we can go in with this tool. And basically what I did was I put it down here, drug it to here. And then we want to make this a sharp line here. So we can convert it to a point. And then that's all it is there, is that. And then we go in and let me just see. I think I actually did that with just one. Let's try this. I forget how I did that. Let me go in and draw that. And I believe it's just a stroke and a gradient on it. So the stroke, let's go ahead and make it a thick stroke. And then there's a couple different ways to do the gradient. You can actually select it. This is the gradient tool. So if you're on an object, you can just drag the gradient tool. You can go to linear. And let's make that, wait, is the middle red? The middle is red, and then it goes out to a black. So well, let's go ahead and get like a nice red color here. Real nice and bright. And then this is going to go out to a black. And actually, let me show you some tricks here. Okay, so we can have that. We can spread that color out. And then even this here, we can kind of make it like a highlight. And kind of just really get like a deeper color in. And then even here, we can kind of play with the specular of it to really kind of get it how we want it and make it look authentic. And that looks pretty good there. Did I put a highlight on it? Yep. Okay. So I'm going to show you this. Another cool trick. So now we just need the highlight. So do that. No stroke. The fill, we want to be color, and we want that to be bright white. And I believe I had two. I did have two. Oh, no, that's the center. Okay, so this one, all we need is one here. Just kind of get it, but obviously it's way too vector, way too sharp. We're going to click Effect, and we're going to do Gaussian blur on it, and we're just going to blur that right out. And then depending on what you're doing and what your light sources are, you can have more. You know what? Why not? Let's take that one, kind of put it here, and then let's duplicate and stretch this one out. And then this one will drop the opacity on, so it's a little more. And then there we go. That looks cool. I want to bring this one into a little bit more. Okay. So anyway, we can keep going all day on that. let me just kind of group those together, and I'm gonna drop the opacity even a little bit more. Okay. From here we had little antennas coming up. So all we want to do is that. I believe it was something like that, and then we want to take these, and these are going to go behind the head. And all I did on that is I'm going to make that like a black, a dark line. And same thing, we're going to drop it into it, and Alt. Oops, I guess that won't work that way. Okay, duplicate it, Command J, and drop it down. And then we can go through and move them around a little bit. And there you go. Okay, it looks like I had another stroke under there. Okay, for the most part, though, I think you get it. We're pretty much wrapping up here. You can go through and kind of finish it up from here. I'm going to do a couple more adjustments. Let's just put the light here. There's like a little one here. Because now we're just getting into... now we're just getting into the part where you kind of go and it's kind of artistic. You're just kind of doing what you want, and you're making him look, how you want to kind of personalize him and how your reference looks. You're just kind of filling them out. Let me just kind of make sure that there's that's simple. You can figure that out. Okay, let me show you one more thing. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing and wrap it up. Because there is a little fun trick here. So this is kind of reverse of what we did here. We're going to draw a square out. Or we got to line it up right. So it's got to be in the right. Do I have a outline? Okay, so it's got just a small outline on it. The color is the same as this. And then we got to get this in the right line here. So it's going to go come on. Now, dang it. Okay. It's just got to go under this eyepiece here. And under that piece. Okay. So it is a square. Okay. Oh, the stroke's not. Okay. There we go. That's why I was looking different. Okay. So now all we want to do is we just want to use the corner tool. So reverse of converting to a curve and then pulling it out and using the types. If we have this corner tool selected, we can take any corner and we can just roll it right in. And that's all I did there. It's a square, and then we just kind of roll that one corner in. And there we go. Something didn't look quite right. Okay, I guess that is right. And then same thing here. I just put like a little black circle. And it looks like that's going to be the last step I do here. So we'll make that black. And we'll go to the stroke and just kind of make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Now, all we got to do is, and you can play with it. I think I had this kind of, maybe not. There's differences, obviously, in this one. And now that everything's, one piece, now we can go on and we can kind of like get them how we want them. And, there we go. There's BB8. So Let me just do one last thing, which is just put like a vector shadow on, and then, it's up to you if you guys want to go through and kind of take this and do this next step. But if not, he's going to look a lot better with some shadow on him. So all I do for shadow is take a non-stroked black thing, kind of put that on like that, and then I just use a little Gaussian blur on it, blur it out a little bit. And, and then you can drop the opacity to whatever you like. And that just kind of helps with that. So then here, we're going to make a new layer, and we're just going to kind of do something similar to that. We might have to kind of make our own shape for this. I'm not sure if this is going to work right. Because last time, it's a lot easier just to paint it. And actually, I'm going to show you why it's so important to do the next step instead of gradiating it, because you're going to run into a lot of issues like I did if you think, oh, I can just use the gradient tool and kind of give him some depth. You can do it, but it's just going to be hard. So here's the thing. Let's say we take our initial shape here and we use this gradient tool, which I just showed you, and we say, oh, let's just go ahead and, make a radial gradient to it. And, let's go ahead and, oops. Well, you can see what the problem is right now is it's not hitting these, it's only affecting that layer. So you would have to almost make a new layer and drop it down and then, pick different layer types and stuff. And you can do it. It's not that you can't do it. It's just, it's a pain in the butt, and it's just way easier to go in and just start undo. Okay. It's way easier just to go in with a brand new with a brand new pixel layer, which I'm just going to go over real quick here. And you know what? I'm not going to go over it because I go over it in the next video. If you want to take it from here to here, watch the next video. It was done in Star Wars style, prequel. I had this one done first, and then I came back and did the vector. But here's BB8. He turned out a little bit different from the first one, but he's still cool. And I hope you learned a lot about masking. And it looked like this little thing did not get in. Something happened there. But other than that, you guys get what's going on here. And I hope you learned a lot. And just come back next time. You can subscribe to me, whatever. I'm going to keep doing a bunch of Affinity stuff. And hopefully you guys are liking what I'm doing, and let me know what you think in the comments about how I set this up with the pauses versus maybe one of my earlier ones. I did a Captain America shield one that's doing real popular where I just plow through the whole thing. If you've watched both of them, maybe give me some feedback, and that way next video I know, which way we're going to go. But this should have shortened it up a little bit and gave you some time to work with me instead of trying to digest everything as a whole. So I hope you guys like it. I'll see you guys next time. Happy vectoring.